Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ellie Jair, and I am so stoked to have you here in the No Shave Man Cave. And we at the No Shave Man Cave set forth on the 5th day of February that every month we would get together and we would reach out and we would talk about that it's okay to not be okay. So I want to just give a quick disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am not a medical, mental, any kind of advisory role. I have 0 certificates. I have nothing but 49 years of grinding it out, 28 of those on active duty. And I've lived a couple of lives, possibly. And all we try and do here in the cave is we try and talk about how wrestling and our veteran life and our mental wellness, how we can use each one of those experiences to manage and deal with what we've got going on. I am a 28-year Marine Corps veteran, and I have absolutely had a fantastic, I had a great career. I've had a, exceptional life. And, over the last year, I've personally really gone through it. And, like a lot of you have heard me talk about, Tiff, Mrs. Ellie Jair, was diagnosed with cancer. And, it was pancreatic cancer. And anytime you hear that, you instantly think, oh, this is the worst. And I was right there with you. I thought the exact same thing. And I was like, what are we going to do? And how am I going to fix this? And, you may have read some books, or you lived life like us. And you sat there and you said, all right, I read this book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And I read this book of the this, that, and the other. And it, like, you can't wrap your head around something that significant until it's you. And even when it's you, you're like, yo, I can't wrap my head around this. This is too much. And, I'm extremely fortunate to have an awesome support network with, obviously Tiffany is my ride or die. We've been in it, since day one. Been married over 30 years now. Coden and Rylan, just amazing men, and I couldn't be more proud of them. And then another amazing human being that I am so fortunate to be on a team with is JTilly. And, everything came out. Hey, this is what we're seeing. This is what we think. And the initial diagnosis, and I think with anything that you hear that you've been afflicted with, and you could pair that with, a significant event in your life. Maybe you're in the military and you're like, I got my re-enlistment package. I'm going to re-up, I'm going to chop over, and I'm going to do 4 more. And, your particular branch has a different plan, and they're like, hey, thank you so much for your service, but we're going to, your specific branch has decided to go a different direction because you didn't submit on time. You didn't whatever. Maybe you're in a job that you thought, hey, I'm the next one up. I'm going to get mine. And, you're going to look at things and go, oh, that's not fair. I don't think I'm just speaking out of turn when I say life is not always fair. It's not. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not. It's not fair. And there's things that we're going to deal with that we have to come to grips with. And that's where our network comes in. That's where our ability to reach out to those that we share a space with. And I'm not making light of it because my voice isn't cracking and I'm not upset and I'm able to complete these sentences when I'm talking about what Tiffany and I have gone through. JTilly has dealt with some adversity recently, and we can go into greater depths whenever he's ready. And I'm so proud of that dude. I'm proud of all of you who are reaching out, who are talking, and you're okay to talk about it. You're okay to talk about the fact that it's okay to not be okay. And we walk around, we see these beat up cars. Oh man, look at it, it's all rusted. Oh, this suit of armor, there's dents and nicks in it from a sword, from a joust, from a hit in the shield with another helmet or with another shield. And those are visible marks and scars that you can go, man, whew, whoever was wearing that really went through it. And there's some of us that wear our heart on our sleeve, and we expose ourselves to being vulnerable, and sometimes we pay the price for it because we trust it, and sometimes we're and I'm air quoting for those who aren't watching on the tube, is we're rewarded, and hey, thank you for sharing, I really appreciate it. And I really gain a lot of strength from having conversations like this and being able to have open dialogue with the fact that it doesn't matter how big, how little, how strong, how and I don't want to say weak, but some people can lift 300 pounds, some can't. I personally cannot lift 300 pounds at one time. I'm going to make 3 trips maybe. But we all are going to go through things. We're all going through things right now. And like I said, maybe you thought you were going to re-enlist. Maybe you thought you were going to get that job. Maybe you were expecting some good news on whatever that thing is, and it didn't arrive. And I cannot tell you I know exactly what you're going through, because I'm not you. I'm not there. As much as I wish I was right there with you, what I'm going through, I'm glad that I'm going through it so you don't have to, because I think I can handle it. And like I said, I have a strong network. I got Tiff is she's grinding. We just got through a year of treatment, and thank you to everybody at Mayo. Thank you the team over at Ackerman who helped us get into Mayo. Just can't say enough fantastic things about the team over at Mayo here in Jacksonville. To Britt, my sister, I am so proud to be part of your family because of the strength that you've shown with what Tiff was going through. You were there. You were a voice. You were an advocate, and that speaks volumes. To Clint, he was out here. He came out here with Tiffany's mom, Cheryl, and they were there with me, for me, when the initial surgery, after the diagnosis, everything was going through. So let's bring a little levity, because we're starting to get a little deep, and I don't want to go there. So Tiff's getting ready to go in for surgery. She has high blood pressure, and it's hereditary. The doctor's like, okay, hey, we're going to do this, that, the other, whatever. Your blood pressure's a little high. With every surgery, my understanding, again, I'm not a medical professional, women are tested for pregnancy, just to make sure that in the event that there's something that, the sedation, we don't want to kill a baby. And, if it's not known, now we can know, and we can be educated on it. Well, Tiff, her pregnancy test came back positive. Now, it Came back positive on a urine test. They did it again. They did it again. Well, with pancreatic cancer, the markers are going to trick a pregnancy test. So they did a blood test. Those results were pending. Tiff calls me back. The doctor calls me back. Hey, FYI, pregnancy test. Tiffany's already upset, and we're right on the front end of cancer. It's scary, and we don't want to lose each other, right? Well, the doctor's like, hey, and I look up, the test can come back, can. Doesn't mean it will, but it can. So, now you're dealing with all these emotions. And I went 5.5 hours thinking that Tiffany was in surgery, pregnant with our child at 48 years old. And every 15 minutes, it would kind of hit me like, oh, damn, I am going to be 66 years old when my son or daughter, or both, if we end up having twins, graduates. That's a lot. That's a lot, right? At the end of the surgery, doctor comes out. Hey, no surprises. Everything was great. Well, wait. No surprises. We did have the one. What was the surprise? Well, I was told that Tiffany was pregnant. Oh, no. Yeah, that's crazy. No, she wasn't pregnant and everything. Well, that would have been nice to know 6 hours ago. So a little bit of humor. She wasn't pregnant, and she made it through the surgery. Everything worked out, right? So now we're here. We're talking about mental wellness, and we're talking about how we're going to cope. And you're going to have difficult conversations. It's an important thing that you deal and communicate those difficult conversations early and often. And, through going through these steps, you can compare that to, other steps that you're going to go through. Maybe it's addiction. Maybe it's getting used to not being around someone. Maybe it's some kind of other physical or mental rehabilitation. You seriously are really embracing every moment, every holiday, so Tiffany's, next birthday, my next birthday, our anniversary, Christmas, our children's birthdays, were like, oh my goodness, could this be it? Could this be the last one? And how do you get through that? It's as a team, it's together. And again, like I said, I wish I wasn't going through this. I wish Tiffany wasn't going through this. My sons weren't going through this, but I'm here, we're here. And I feel like we're strong enough as a team to deal with this. And, Coden has been just a boss during this whole thing. He's been there for Tiffany when there were times that I wasn't able to be there. And that's just so powerful. And me being self-aware enough and recognizing I can't do this alone. And I don't try and portray it. When I go to work, I try not to talk about it, and it does come up from time to time, but I try not to talk about it. And the first person that I talked to, I reached out to JTilly, and I was like, hey dog, here it is, man. And we've had some awesome conversations about just life and everything, and he was there. And my buddy Jesse was there, my buddy Jay was there. Everybody just so awesome. And my team of the warriors that I work with in the pod, so proud to be on that team as well. And I hope that anytime you're dealing with adversity, that you have that network that you can deal with, and you can cope with, and you can partner with to get through it as a team, right? And JTilly, he's going through some stuff. We talk, and I get off the phone, he gets off the phone. He may say, yeah, man, thanks, I really appreciate it. I hope he feels better just as much as I feel better when I get off the phone or being face to face, or if we're FaceTiming or StreamYard or wherever we're at. It's very cathartic to be able to share life experiences. So I encourage you, man, women, child, however you identify, if you are going through it, I challenge you to reach out, to come up with a team, with a group of people, like-minded, positive, that are going to be there to support you the way I have been supported. And, my brother Mike has been there, and he's like, hey man, anytime, just so you know. And he's in a completely different country. He's like 13 hours ahead. So, my morning is his night, and vice versa. So I'm getting up, getting ready to go to work when he's getting ready, to go to bed, right? He's like, hey man, anytime. I message him, hey man, I'm on the struggle bus. And he was there. Same thing with JTilly. So, if you are dealing with a mental, emotional, spiritual struggle, I implore you to get help. And that help could be a phone call. It could be you writing a letter, you going into the other room. If you're in, you live in the barracks, or you live, next to your buddy, you have a neighbor you can go holler at. You just walk down, hey man, what's going on? And me, I admit I turned to drinking a little too heavily. And yeah, I was able to forget about it for a couple hours, and then I wake up feeling like garbage, and I still have all my stuff, right? So it's being able to deal with it, being able to manage it, and it's a lot. If you're dealing with a mental emergency, yes, you can dial 911. You can get help that way. You can go to va.org if you're a veteran. You can dial 988, and you will be immediately connected. If you're a veteran and you have your smartphone, or you have access to my Healthy Vet app, click the red banner along the top, and you will be immediately connected to to someone. And immediately you're like, oh man, if you can exhale, you can let that go, and find a positive outlet, whether it's you're writing, if you're artistic. I'm not artistic. If you're musically inclined or not musically inclined either, and you teach yourself how to play an instrument on YouTube. You can learn just about anything on YouTube. I just got a new car, and I'm going to have to go on YouTube to figure out how to replace emblems and do all this other stuff. So YouTube is extremely, extremely valuable. And, me having something busy to do, keep my mind off of things, is extremely helpful. I have a couple of other outlets. I've got, this podcast. I have another podcast. I've got buddies. I've got work. And, I wish I could say, yeah, I'm going to go get this. I'm going to go get my workout in, and I'm going to get jacked. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I am not going to go work out as much as I probably should. And, I encourage everyone to, if you look better, you feel better, you dress for the job that you want, not for the job you have. Whatever it is that makes you feel good about yourself, as long as it's not hurting someone else and it's not hurting yourself, go do it. I used to work with someone who just had awesome confidence, and they would dye their hair different colors, and I was like, man, that looks freaking awesome. Meanwhile, if you're watching the video, I don't know if you can tell, my beard is a different color now. This is the natural color of my beard. My beard is white, or I guess gray-ish. The middle still has dye in it. I dye my beard because Tiffany doesn't like the white beard, so I'll get everything situated. But this is me. This is the skin that I live in, and I wish the skin was a little tighter, but this is where we're at. So it's February 22nd, and I reached out to some of my buddies, and I was just like, hey, buddy check, report. And I do this every month on the 22nd of the month. And, I am happy to report nothing but positive feedback. My crew, they're still getting it on. Very, very proud of one of my Army brethren has moved up and on and doing some big things in Tejas, Texas. Welcomed him and his family with open arms. Huge miss for our team, but big gain for theirs. Got my buddies in Virginia and North Carolina, Indiana, positive reports, and that is so empowering and refreshing to me. And I'm living vicariously through wrestling. I'm able to use my suspended belief and sort of forget about what we're dealing with on a daily basis. I'm not forgetting about it to the extent where I didn't know that I'm not going to deal with this. But as a team, as a family, as a group, we're going to be able to deal with this together. And I encourage you to reach out, get the help that you need, wherever it is that you're going to get it. Do it in a positive and constructive way. If you're not a religious person, maybe find a church. Go church shopping. Find a church where you fit in, whether it's non-denominational or whatever denomination that you want to go with. You can watch it on YouTube, like we talked about a little bit earlier. It's available, and that's what Tiffany and I do on Sundays. We catch church. We catch up. We touch base with one another to make sure that we both know that we're here for each other, regardless of what's going on. So I'm so proud to be part of this team here in the No Shave Man Cave. I am so proud of this show, this specific event on the 22nd of every month. I like to check in with the fam, and on that, I'm going to check out. 22 minutes and 22 seconds. Much love from the No Shave Man Cave. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you on the floor.